Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to 31 Days of Pomp-o-Ween. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, welcome, my name is Pompberry, and during October, I like to celebrate Halloween all month long. So I do that by releasing one Halloween video a day, which I think is a pretty great way to celebrate. If you're not new here, welcome back. It's great to see you again. And today I'm going to be doing a Jester makeup. But I feel like the Jester is one of those characters that has been done time and time again. It's obviously something that stems back to the Middle Ages, so it honestly has been done time and time again. And so I just wanted to put my little spin on it. Today I'm going to be doing a much more graphic and geometric modern Jester. So I'm still going to have some like little Jester-like accessories, but the makeup is going to be really bold and really graphic. It's going to require a lot of precision line work, which I'm a little bit terrified about, but I sketched this design out and I'm really happy with how the face chart looks. If you want to check it out, it's up on my Patreon at patreon.com/pompberry. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited. And I feel like that's a good way to be about a makeup look. Doing something that challenges you is the only way to better your skills. So I'm all for it. So I've got my eyebrows covered already. If you don't know how to do that, I'm going to link to a video tutorial up here. I have a whole video just dedicated to how to cover your eyebrows, and I'm gonna jump right in. But before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell button so that you're notified every time I upload, and this month it will be a lot, but it'll be worth it. All right, so I'm going to start by protecting my skin with the Derma Shield. This is a barrier cream created for people with sensitive skin, and it creates a physical barrier on your skin so that things can't penetrate easily. And I tend to break out when I use face paints, so lately I've been loving this to protect my skin a little bit. It's used a lot in DIY for people to protect their hands from harsh chemicals, but it's completely face safe. And it looks like this. It's a foam that you just apply onto your skin. And it smells really bad, but it is completely face safe. You don't have to worry about it. And it is quite nourishing to the skin. It feels really nice, actually. You just have to get past the smell. And now I'm going to start out by mapping out the shapes very lightly using some water-activated face paint. This is the white one by Wolf. You just need to drop couple little drops of water in there. And I'm using a paintbrush that is a liner brush. I got it in a set of liner brushes off Amazon. I find that paintbrushes are really, really good for doing really detailed work instead of regular makeup brushes. So I don't want it to be necessarily too pigmented. I just want it to be a very, very light demarcation. And I'm going to be doing a lot of straight lines, and you might be thinking you could just take some like washi tape and put it across your face and just draw the straight lines that way. But when you put tape on your face, it's going to conform to the volumes of your face, and that's going to make the line go all crooked. What you have to do when you're trying to create straight lines on a surface that isn't flat, like your face, you're going to have to create an illusion. You're going to have to curve the line a little bit so that it looks straight in the end. And you'll see what I mean along the way. I'm going to start by my eye. So this design consists of a lot of diamond shapes. The biggest one is going to be around my left eye. So I'm just going to draw that guy in first because he will be our guide to the other ones. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of trying to find where that end is going to go. I can see right now that it's not even, so I'm going to have to fix it up, but that's why we're doing this first. I want to make sure that the ends are aligned. And see how I drew a straight line, but it looks curved when I look straight at the camera? That's because I have to cheat it so that it appears straight when I'm looking straight forward. And this has to move over a bit. Once I have this one mapped out, I'm going to extend the lines. So I'm just going to take this and go all the way across and then down these ones because we're going to need them as guides. I'm trying to keep all the lines as parallel as possible. This will be a tricky design to freehand, but I always say when it comes to freehanding, I prefer doing everything that I can freehand instead of using stencils and whatnot, because this way you practice. You will never get better at drawing shapes freehand if you don't draw shapes freehand. You know what I mean? Okay, and you can see that this side looks smaller than this one because of the curves of my face. So all I have to do is erase this guy and do it again. That's why I'm using a water activated face paint, so that it's easy to erase if I make any mistakes. And now comes, I think, the really tricky part, which is drawing the smaller diamonds. And for that, I'm just going to draw a bunch of parallel lines and try to keep them equal distance apart. Now, once I've done that, it's time to go the other way. So I was able to fit 4 lines on this side, so I'm supposed to be able to fit 4 lines on this side too. This one should line up with this one. This one should line up with the second one. The third one should line up with the third one. And the fourth one seems like it needs to go down a little bit. So just erase it and just extend these guys. So I just wanted to show you what I was talking about with distortion. So for these diamonds to look proportional when I'm looking forward, they have to look like this in reality, if you look at them straight on, because it warps when I change the angle. And so the lines have to widen to make room for that distortion. But now that I've got everything pretty much mapped out, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the white diamonds with the Mehron Clown White Light. So this is a cream color, unlike the first face paint that I used. If you want to know more about the difference between this type and the previous type that I used, there's a video where I go more in depth about it, and it is my death one that I did previously for Pomp-o-Ween. You can watch it by clicking up here. And I'm just going to start filling in the ones that I know I want to be white. I'm going to try to be really precise with this, but it's okay if I'm not, because I am going to go in with a black afterwards. But I do want to make the white as even and as opaque as possible. I'm just using a little flat synthetic brush for this. And once you've got that first row done, it's pretty easy to just continue from there. You don't have to think about it too much. And the reason I'm not filling these in with the water activated face paint is because since I am going to be using black water activated face paint later to fill in the other shapes, I don't want it to mix in with the white water activated face paint and get gray and muddy. And also, it's much harder to get white water activated face paint even. So this way I can just ensure that they're going to be kind of like a flat white and I don't have to worry about it going patchy or anything. This is looking promising. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to powder this down with translucent powder. And I want to be very, very generous with the amount of powder that I'm applying. It will get pretty much on everything around you, but it is necessary to lock this cream product down. Boom. It's gonna feel a little bit like a desert on your face, but I'm just gonna let that sit for a moment and let it really, really set everything. Now I'm going to take the black water activated face paint by Wolf, and I'm going to start filling in the other little diamonds. I'm going to be using a liner brush for this as well, and I'm going to start with the ones around the edges as kind of like practice. I'm just going to dust a little bit of that powder off. I still want it to sit on the rest. Start up here. Then you can take a flat brush to fill it in. And this bit is probably going to be the trickiest part of the makeup. It's going to take a long time, but after all this is done, it should be a little bit easier, although I am going to be doing diamonds on this side of my face, and those I'm going to have to completely freehand, which is a little bit terrifying, but I think it won't be that bad because I won't have to line them up like this. So I'll have a little bit more freedom to kind of like mess up. And this one I'm trying to be as careful as I possibly can. And you do want to make sure to remove the excess powder as you go along, because I forgot to right here, and the black paint just kind of bled onto the powder. So just make sure you don't make that same mistake. If you mess up, you can always patch things up. That's totally fine. Just go back in with a little bit of white and then powder it, and it's all good. I think one of the most important things here is getting the consistency of the black face paint right. You don't want it too watery so that it doesn't kind of leak and bleed, but you don't want it too dry, otherwise you won't be able to draw really crisp straight lines. So it's finding that balance that works, which can also take a little bit of practice. If you find that your brush is too wet to do the outline, just fill in the middle while it's really wet. And then once you've removed a bit of that product from your brush, you can move on to the outline. That way you don't have an excess of product on your brush when trying to do the super precise line work. Now that I've filled in all the tiny little black diamonds, I'm going to leave the ones on the edges blank because I'm going to have to fill in this side of my face with white. So I don't want to overlap over black when I get close to the edge here. So now I'm going to take the Mehron Clown White Light on a damp beauty blender and fill in this other half of my face. And all I'm trying to do here is make my skin be as even and white as possible. So I'm working slowly in little areas to make sure that I'm really building up that white, and then make sure to really work it around the nose. Don't forget under the nose. And then I'm going to use the very, very tip of the sponge for when I get close to this border. And I'm seeing right here that I can see that white line, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to take a Q-tip and erase what I can. I didn't do this step first because I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted my skin to be able to breathe. So I try to do a lot of things for comfort and health of my skin. So the least amount of time that I can have this on my skin as possible, the better. That's just how I like to work. And also I had a little lunch break, so I wanted to make sure I didn't have anything around my mouth area. And you want to make sure everything is kind of at the same opacity all over. And I want to get it on my lid and under my eye as well. So then once you're happy with that, it's time to powder yet again. You really want to lock this down. And I'm making sure to put a lot of powder on my powder puff. And make sure that there are no creases before you powder anything. And this amount of powder on the face feels really constricting. It kind of feels like the skin is going like and so it's a really, really weird feeling, but you just have to bear with it for like a few minutes until it really sets everything. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and finish these little black diamonds. Now they're not completely all even. Like I can tell that like these ones are bigger than these, but I'm not too worried, honestly. Like I think it looks fine. It looks fine. Now I'm going to move on to the big one around my eye. And that's just going to be more of the same thing and just trying to get that line as like precise as possible. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to leave like a little white line between the smaller ones and the big one. So I'm leaving it for now, but I might get rid of it later. And obviously to fill in the bigger areas, you can use a bigger brush. And my immediate eye area, I'm not going to be too worried about filling it with this product. I'll probably use eye-specific products later because they don't crease. They just perform better on the lid. Now around the nose, it might get a little tricky to get that line straight. You can just make little tweaks slowly until you get it right. And it's important to make sure that the sides are aligned, so just tweak it till it looks right. I'm going to dust off the excess powder on the rest of my face, kind of pushing it in to make sure it's really set. Just kind of going over everything. Now the idea for this makeup is that it's kind of pixelated. If you've ever seen things that are pixelated and start dissolving, that's the idea behind this. So I'm going to start drawing smaller and smaller diamonds, just kind of streaking down my face. And they're not going to be perfectly in line with these necessarily. Some are, some aren't. But now it's going to get tricky because it's going to be completely freehand, black on white, and that always terrifies me. So I'm gonna like not breathe for the rest of this so that I can steady my hand, but I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna start off by drawing some little ones over on this side of the nose. And I'm taking a smaller liner brush, but still in the same style. But these diamonds are gonna be smaller, so I'm going for a smaller brush. I'm gonna do one right about here. And this is gonna be a little tricky because it is on the slope of the bridge of the nose where it meets the eye socket. So I'm gonna have to really distort proportions to get the diamond looking right. So this one's gonna look more like a square, but then it reads as a diamond when looking straight on. Then underneath it, I'm going to draw another one. You can also do like a cross to map it out, and then you just kind of connect the tips of the cross. That's one way to help map them out. Just figure out what works best for you. And then I'm gonna do one next to this bottom one. Then over on this side, I actually want to do one that's just the outline. So I'm not going to do all of them filled in like this. I'm also going to do ones that's just the outline. Now these are going to be the trickiest hardest, I think, to get right. So I'm gonna attempt it and I hope it goes well. Still want to keep this edge parallel to this main edge here. And I'm gonna keep doing these seemingly random diamonds throughout my face, but I'm gonna concentrate more of them closer to here and then make them more sparse and smaller as I get to this side of my face. I'm gonna do another outlined one. I'm gonna do one here, I think on this corner, even though it doesn't line up with the sequence here. It'll be kind of like a glitch, which is essentially what's happening. It's like glitching onto the rest of my face. So I think that'll be in line with the idea behind this. Then after this one, I'm going to have a few smaller ones kind of cascading down here. Then I'm also going to put one right here. It's going to be bigger than this one, but smaller than this top one. Then I'm going to fit just an outline one right here. And I experimented with the placement of all these diamonds on the face chart beforehand. So if you're doing something like this, I do think it's beneficial to plan ahead and have it on paper, and that way you can reference it and it goes a lot faster when you're doing it on your face. I'm also going to do the lips right now because that's going to help to kind of set the tone for the bottom half of my face, and then I'll be able to judge where to put more diamonds after that. First, I'm just going to remove the excess face paint off my lips. And then I'm going to trace them in the face paint, but I'm going to fill them in with black lipstick. I'm going to create a diamond-shaped cupid's bow. Try to make the outline be as straight as possible. The same thing for the bottom lip too. Once that's done, I'm going to draw 2 little diamonds on each side of the lips. I'm going to try to keep them the same size on both sides. Then I'm going to do a smaller one on each side. Then I'm going to fill my lips in with the Black Moon Cosmetics lipstick in the color Sleepwalker. Just being careful to stay within the lines. And I'm starting to do little teeny tiny ones as I get closer to this edge of my face. Okay, so I think that's finally it for the diamonds. This side of my face took me about an hour and a half to do. All these little freestyle ones, they took a lot longer than I thought they would. Now I'm going to move on to the eyes because that's the only thing I have left to do. And I'm going to start with this eye. I'm going to line my waterline with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the color Milk. It's just a very intense white pencil. And I'm just going to apply that right on my waterline. Then on this side, I'm going to line it with black. This is the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the color Black Bean. I'm going to fill under my eye with this and my lid as well. Just going to kind of apply that all over. Then I'm going to take some black eyeshadow and then just set that cream in place. Any type of cream product that you use, you have to set it with a powder afterwards. Otherwise it will move, it will crease. There's no way around it. Initially I had planned on lining this eye with black and putting on false lashes, but I tried a few false lashes on and I just didn't really like the way they looked. I think this is really cool. This is really minimal and I'm digging that, so I'm just gonna stick to that. I'm just gonna take some white eyeshadow and just run it through my lashes just to make sure they're kind of hidden. If I put on white mascara, it'll actually bring attention to the eyelashes. They'll stand out, and this just kind of helps to hide the lashes a little bit. Okay, so this is actually it for the makeup. I'm gonna go put on my wardrobe, my wig, my accessories, and I'm gonna try to pop in some really interesting lenses. I hope I can get them in, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. And this is the finished look. I put on a black sclera contact on this eye to completely black out this area of my face. This contact is from pinkyparadise.com, and then this contact is from Camo Eyes. I'm going to leave everything that I'm wearing down below in the description box. I thought this look would be really fun to do and something really out of the ordinary. Sometimes it's fun to just mix things up a little bit, do something unexpected, especially for Halloween, where it feels like things have been done so many times over and over and over again. And this is just to show that you can take something that has been done a million times over and transform it and make it your own. So it's all about how you interpret a theme, and I always like to push myself in that aspect. So I had a lot of fun doing this. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know what you thought of it down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my patrons who support me. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another day of Pomp-o-Ween. I'll see you then. Bye.